Dear students, today I will take 14th lesson, National Movement in India and Partition, Independent. So major subtopics in this lesson are 1935 Act followed by individual satyagrahis, followed by Muslim League and its agenda particularly for the partition of India, and how partition that is taking place in India, followed by independence and subtopics like Subhash Chandra Bose, Indian National Army, followed by RSS Hindu Mahasabha, some religious parties and their agenda. This is about the topic, 14th topic, but 13th topic I think government is going to remove. We'll wait for that, and that's why I started 14th lesson. So once again, national movement, how national movement was continued, then how the steps taken towards independence and towards partition of the country. Today we will take 2 or 3 subtopics. First one is 1935 Act. 1935 Act. So actually, India was under control of British rule up to 1947. There was a big freedom movement was continued for many years, a long struggle of independence, right? Finally we got independence. In this process, when it comes to 30s and 40s, new agenda emerged in the Indian politics, Particularly, the idea of partition, division of the country was not there before 30s, even 30s and before that. So, anyhow, but India was under control of British rule. They are ruling. They introduced many programs and laws and all based on their laws. Even laws also made based on their interest. So based on their interest, based on their laws, they rule India. But as the freedom movement was going on, symptoms of independence emerged. You mean even World War I, World War II, World War I period, and after even during World War II, European countries, particularly colonial empires, declined. And European countries like France, Spain, Portugal, and all these countries were not able to continue their colonies. Situation internally and externally unable to rule their nations and rule their empires. This process, 1920s and 30s freedom struggle was very high in India, and finally British government, of course, during World War II and after World War II, decided to give independence to India. First of all, talking about this 1935 Act. In 1930, actually, you can remember that Simon Commission was appointed in 1927. Simon Commission was appointed in 1927 to look into the land order, look into the reforms that are required to the country. Simon Commission was appointed by the British government to send to India. Then the commission came to India in 1928. In 1928, this commission came to India, and the report was submitted in 1930, and based on that, 30, 31, 32, 3 roundtable conferences were held. Roundtable conferences at London. Roundtable conference were held, and after that, you mean that the Simon Commission, Simon was the head of that commission. That's a Simon Commission called. So there are 7 members. They came here. They observed all the things, and they observed and they provided their own opinion regarding this and went ahead. In this process, roundtable conferences were held at London, and even some parties were invited, including Indian National Congress, and only few parties attended for this conference. And the second roundtable conference, even Indian National Congress also participated. Based on these roundtable conferences, a new law was introduced in India that is called Parliamentary Act of 1935. This act is about Parliamentary Act of 1935. So this act, what is this act? Here our intention is what is 35 Act, why it was introduced, is it favor to India or not? This is about the story that was given in our subject, in our talk. So 1935 Act, it's really an important act, I can say that, through which steps taken towards democracy. Democratic system emerged in India in provinces. You mean states. Up to that, in every state was under control. There is a ruler called governor, and all the states were called provinces. In every state, the governor was there. Governors were there. All the governors were working under viceroy or governor general. This is about the way how Britishers ruled India. So now, according to 35. Elections are held in provinces, so there are features. There are good number of positive things can be seen in this act. What they have done is a 35 Act. According to this, elections were held. I am talking about positive things, right? Elections were held. According to this, elections were held in the provinces. Provinces, nothing but states. And the party which is able to get majority can form the government. They can form the government. This is really winning parties can form the government. This point is to be taken. Winning parties can form the government. And the elections were held in 1937. 1937 elections were held out of 11 provinces. At the time, 11 provinces are there. At present, 28 states are there, right? At the time, 11 provinces are there, and some are princely states were there. Some are princely states were there, and 11 provinces are there. Out of 11 provinces, in 8 provinces, Indian National Congress was able to form the government. Indian National Congress was able to form the government. So INC was able to form the government in 8 provinces out of 11 provinces that were there in India. So at the same time, one more important point is to be taken here. Right to vote is expanded. You mean democratic process started. It is really a base for democracy in India. This act was a base for democracy. That is, I think I can say that point is here, democratic system was started in India more earlier was there, that those symptoms were there, those laws were there toward democracy, but here right to vote was given to 12% of people. 12% of people in the provinces, 1%, this is about in provinces, right? I said provinces, and 1% in the central legislative assembly. 1% in the central legislative assembly. You mean that throughout the country, 1% of people are able to get right to vote. So my point is here, right to vote is given, elections are held, parties can form the government, and one more positive thing is here, very important point, positive thing is here, government can rule the states. Of course, governor is the head of the state who was there. Under that, prime minister, nothing but earlier chief minister was called prime minister. Prime minister and their cabinet, their ministers also are there. They can rule the state, but they are ruling under governor. This is a great work done by the Britishers through 1935 Act. Allowed the people to rule the states. Elections were held. Universal adult franchise universal right now, what is that? Franchise was given, right to vote was given. But there are people asking, can you appreciate the Britishers for this act? But we can say that we can appreciate. According to my opinion, we can appreciate Britishers to introduce this act in India. Of course, there are people who are opposing right to vote not given for many people. Complete authority was not given. Governor was there over the Prime Minister of the state, and complete powers not there for the Chief Minister. Those are the points from the side of the critics, right? But my opinion is 35 Act is major act through which many changes were taken place. Democratic system evolved. Everything is good. You know one thing, in India at present, whatever the constitution is there, 70% of the principles that are there in this act were taken into present constitution. That is enough to understand how worthy this the act. So 35 Act you can criticize as it is not given right to vote for many people, and governor and his role continued in the states. Chief Minister is nominally head. No, of course, even though, but democratic structure was established. So that point is to be taken. So that's why should we support? If anybody asks, should we support the government because of this act? Yes, we can support the government of British as it is introduced a kind of act which is really based to the present constitution, and election process and right to vote and everything was done in it. That is the first area. Actually, at the time World War II started, 1939 to 45, the period of World War II. You can easily understand. It is the period of World War II, right? During that period, there was a confusion in the INC leader, Indian National Congress leaders. They divided into two groups, to whom that we support. There are two groups, Axis powers and Allied powers. Axis powers, Allied powers. There was a world war between two groups, Axis powers and Allied powers. Under Axis powers, Germany, we learn Germany, Italy, and Japan. And this side same, England, France, USA, USSR, right? These are the countries where we can find the war, World War II and World War I continue, right? Allied powers and Axis powers. My point is here, to whom we need to support. World War II was going on. England saying that we are fighting against these powers, these countries, because they are creating a threat for democratic countries, threat for democracy. Or these are the countries occupying the independent countries. That's why we are fighting against them. Who is saying? England. But we are fighting against England. How can we support England? It is a double standard, ideology followed by England. That point is to be taken. What do you mean by that? If you are willing to fight against these people, if you are interested to fight against these nations, as you commented them as occupying the independent nations, but what about you? You did not give independence to India. That point is to be taken. But most of the leaders in the INC not interested to support the Hitler. Hitler and his ideology was strongly opposed by Indian National Congress leaders. So under these circumstances, but what about the British? British said that we are fighting against Germany and Italy and Japan because they are occupying some countries. No, you occupied some countries, no. But when situation is like this, there are two parties in England. England was under control of Conservative Party. At the time, ruling party was Conservative Party. You have to take this point. Conservative Party, which is in ruling during World War II. One is Conservative Party. Second one is Labour Party. Conservative Party, Labour Party. Conservative Party was in ruling, right? Ruling party, Conservative Party in England. Their aim is to continue the empire. Whatever empire we established, a very big empire, sun never set empire, a big empire, will continue, we establish, we will continue. We don't want to give independence to anybody, any country. But Labour Party gave support to Indians. Indians should get independence. That is the aim of the Labour Party. So my point is here, Labour Party, which is always supporting India, and even they used to say Indians have right. They have right to get independence and rule their own nation. Whose ideology? Labour Party, but which is not in ruling. That can criticize. That's all. The party can criticize the Conservative, but Conservative Party interested to continue their empire, and they don't want to dismantle their empires. They don't want to give independence, but they one side they are fighting in Germany. For what purpose? I don't know. You give independence to all the nations which you occupied, then fight against British Germany, as it is injustice that Germany is occupying other nations. But you can hold that some countries, you can enjoy empire, vast empire, but somebody, Germany like other countries are occupying, when they are occupying, then you are opposing it. It's a kind of double standard ideology followed by England. Anyhow, at that time, Britishers were in the war. Indians always fighting and asking a complete Swaraj and all. At the time, we asked one thing. They asked the permission of, they asked the help of Indians, particularly Indian National Congress. What is that? If you are going to give support, right? See, one minute. INC and its support that they would like to get. English people would like to get support of INC during World War II. They asked the Indian to give support during World War II. But INC asked one thing. We want complete Swaraj. Complete Swaraj or complete full independence. But Britishers, the Britishers' interest is, we don't want to give independence to you. Complete Swaraj will not be possible. We'll give dominion status. Dominion status. This point is to be taken. Dominion status. What do you mean dominion status? Country can be ruled by the people, but it will be under control of the British Crown. Why should we be under control of British Crown? That's a big question. What is dominion status? It's not complete Swaraj. Countrymen can rule their own country, but the country will be under the British Crown. That's the opinion of the dominion status. It's not complete Swaraj. But that is strongly opposed by Indians. We don't want dominion status. You mean that indirectly we are under control of British Crown? We don't want to be under the control of the British Crown. We wanted to rule our country without any interference, without any country and its interference and its authority. We want a nation with complete freedom. That's the demand of the Indian National Congress during 39-40. That's our story. But Britishers said that INC only one party in the country. It represents a particular section of society, a particular group of people. INC is nothing but India. You mean that INC is not the representative for entire country? India is meant for many communities, and we need to protect. Britishers responding like this. We need to protect all these different communities, and we need to protect the interest of different communities. We don't want to. You are not the representative to the nation. INC is not the representative to the nation. Whatever you ask, that will not be done. Country means not INC. Country means many communities, many people, many interests. So that as a ruler, we need to protect the interest of many communities. Muslim people are there, Christians are there, some other sections are there, some other groups are there. Everybody, they had their own interest, and so that we need to we need not to respond to the demand of the ANC, Indian National Congress. We have an aim to protect the interest. That's about the answer given by the British government. Whenever the ANC asking complete Swaraj, Britishers saying like that. They said like that. And it is a cleverly that the Britain cleverly escaped from this. So Britishers' aim is not to give independence. Britishers' aim is not to give independence to anybody. Aim is to continue their empire, but at the same time they would like to get support from Indians. How is it possible for that? You are interested to get support from Indians during World War II, but at the same time you don't want to give independence to India. Where is that logical point here? Where is that injustice here? So that Indians are asking complete Swaraj, you give, just announce complete Swaraj, then Indians will support you. But you don't want to lose your empire, but at the same time you are asking. Again, you are criticizing that INC is not, Indian National Congress is not the whole representative of the entire country. And whatever you ask, we don't want to give, but there are other sections of society. We have to respond to all the other sections of society. What kind of theory it is? At the same time, 1940s, right? During war, they introduced certain powers, certain laws, and Britishers started suppressing people. With a small reason or without reason, large number of people are taken into custody, arrested and suppressed and crushed and beating alike. So because here the government of England would like to continue their empire, would like to continue their colony, that's why who are the people opposing this, who are the people opposing the government are seriously taken into consideration and were arrested, were kept in jail and in long-term jail and even without bail. So that kind of what you call this control put by the British government in India during 40s when World War II was going on. So that's why Indian National Congress started. Indian National Congress (INC) started individual satyagrahas. Individual satyagrahas during 1940. Individual satyagrahas started, and what are the governments elected in 1937 resigned in 39. Whatever government elected, I said very early, out of 11 provinces, in 8 provinces, Indian National Congress was able to form government, and all the governments resigned as government. Britishers declined the offer or opposed this the demand of INC. In 1939, most of the governments which are formed at various states resigned. They started individual satyagrahas. Individual satyagrahas started in 1940s. Wherever you go, in all the places, people started satyagraha. My point is here, Britishers suppressing the people. Who are the people fighting and conducting satyagraha wherever? All the leaders at their regions, people in Maharashtra, whatever, all the leaders in their regions, they started satyagrahas. A kind of strikes and hartals and something, and not allowing the public works, right? So this about individual satyagrahas started. ఎవరి ప్రాంతాల్లో వాళ్ళు సొంతంగా సత్యాగ్రహ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తే and then the Britishers came out and suppressed all the people, kept so large number of people during World War II, kept in jail. This is really kind of work done by the Britishers. I can say that special orders, special powers taken by British government to suppress the people who are living in the country, because they should not face any disturbance when they are in the war. We are in the war. We don't want to see any disturbance from any colony. What nonsense! If you are announcing independence, they don't create any disturbance, right? So that is to be taken. So these points are to be taken. At the time, Britishers created a kind of logical thing, that is. What is that thing? Britishers, in the name of religion, they try to divide Indians. So divide and rule policy, divide and rule policy, divide and rule. Divide and rule policy that was announced by Britishers. So divide and rule policy, a policy in which through which Britishers, I think this policy was implemented by Britishers in most of the colonies. So when talking about this, Britishers' aim is to disintegrate the people. People should not have a kind of unity. People should go without unity. But that tactics that was applied by Britishers in many states, many countries. In South Africa, based on color, they divided. In Nigeria, in so many places, in many places, they followed their own policy. In India, they divide people based on community, religion based, Hindus and Muslims. That division, through that division, they would like to disturb the unity among the people. When unity is there, they can fight and they can get independence. When unity not there, and there is no problem for our government that is there here. That's why divide and rule policy, a policy of segregating people based on color or tribe, based on tribe, based on community, based on whatever that. Their aim is to continue their ruling. When people are divided, then they can fight each other. There is no unity and there will be no unity, and then they don't come and they don't fight. This is a kind of policy followed by Britishers. That is about during 1940s, particularly Indian National Congress, INC, Indian National Congress, a party, majority party, important party, nationwide party. But at the same time, it was formed in 1885, right? But Muslim League also, Muslim League, a party that is formed in 1906. I think we will have separate video on Muslim League and its agenda and partition. So Muslim League leaders also stressing on two nations theory, two nations theory, and they demand, particularly Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, person, a leader of Muslim League, asking the two nation theory. He said that Muslims and Hindus are different, and their history is different, their community is different, their traditions and customs are different, so that these two groups cannot merge, cannot follow, cannot get unity, unitedly cannot live. That's why they should have their own separate nations. You have to understand this point. Leader of Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, asking the two nations, Hindus and Muslims are not same entity, from same entity. They had their own historical background. They have their different history, different traditions and customs, and these two groups cannot merge, so cannot unite, so that they should have their own separate states. That's called two nation theory. This is about a wrong decision taken by Muslim League. That's why India and Pakistan divided. Muslim League ideology proved as wrong, because India now democracy is good, but in Pakistan entire people and their rights are in danger. In Pakistan, if it is with India, then these kind of problems won't be. So my point is to be taken. Divide and rule policy, which divided the people into Hindus and Muslims, and you know very well. And after that, even Muslim League, a separate party for Muslims, And this Muslim League always asking something about separate status or autonomy for the Muslims and all. 30s onwards they are asking, but during 40s and the demand came as a major demand. Partition became a major demand. So with this we are put an end to this, and next episode, in the next episode we'll take some other subtopics in this lesson. Thank you.